Hi there, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to create a little sunset scene, and then I've made a background completely out of twine. So I'm going to create my little scene using a circle, which I've cut out using a die, and I'm going to use a little inspired by stamping set called Summer Fun, which is really cute, really fun to use. So I just had to edit the video here because I made a bit of a mistake, but I'm just going to show you how I created the sand or the beach for my sunset scene. And this is a paint swatch from Bunnings, which is a hardware store, and it's got a lot of texture on it. It actually looks like sand. So I've die cut the bottom of that using a circle die, and then just use that wavy line that I've hand drawn and cut that out. It's amazing what you can find at the hardware store to use on your craft. So just making sure that all fit how I wanted it to. Now I'm going to start using my Distress inks to sponge and blend on some ink to create my scene. For the sky, I'm going to use Scattered Straw, Mustard Seed and Spiced Marmalade. So I'm just using a sponge very rough with the Scattered Straw first, adding on Mustard Seed and finishing off with the Spiced Marmalade. And for the ocean, I'm using Broken China and Salty Ocean. How appropriate. Now I haven't blended it completely. It's, you know, the ocean's an unpredictable thing. It wasn't to look perfect anyway, so the only mistake I did do was I did go a bit high into my yellows, so I've created a bit of a green tinge there, but we'll just pretend that that was on purpose. So now I'm going to adhere my beach, and then I had a real little epiphany and I thought I could use something for the breaking waves, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I'm just about to stamp the palm tree from Inspired by Stamping. Looks beautiful. So here's my little secret. I used a tub of True Snow and used a paintbrush to tap that on, and it's dimensional, so it sort of sticks out, and it really did in the end look like breaking waves onto the sand. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. And I decided to just check that that would look good on a black background, which it did, so I will just set that aside. Now here's my background that I decided to make. This took me forever, so I did a fair bit of it and then decided I'd just show you the last part. So I've cut a piece of craft cardstock so it's fairly similar in colour, and then I have just added strips of twine onto it. It took me, I don't know, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes to get this done. It's quite time consuming, but it really looks good when I finish it. I was really happy with it. I did have to have a break in between doing this. Sitting over the desk was a bit much, so anyway, it looks really good. And there may be a better way to do this. I was going to wrap it around the cardstock, but the card I've got wasn't exactly very thick, so it just didn't hold it very well. So back to my little sunset scene. I'm just going to start putting everything together, and I decided to mount the top panel onto the black panel with some foam squares just to give it a little bit of pop. Now with your twine background, if you'd ever do attempt this, it's probably best just to let it completely dry, but me being quite impatient, it looks like a little welcome mat with its little bits off the side. So anyway, I've cut all them off, and now I've got this really nice textured background that I can place my scene on. Now one thing I forgot to do, and you'll see in a moment, is I wanted to stamp a sentiment next to the palm tree, so I had to rip all that off, trying not to damage it too much, and I've stamped the word summer, as you can see, right along there next to the palm tree. Then instead of double-sided tape, I decided to actually use a glue for my sunset scene when it comes time to put it on there. But that's foam tape that I'm using on the back of my cardstock. It's quite thin, so it doesn't stick out too much. And I decided to curl the edges up a bit. So yes, I use glue to stick my circle onto the background, and then I've got these two little inserts to pop in later. And here you will see my finished card. I really did like the end result. I think it looks very Balinese, summery, with a Balinese grass mat at the back of my scene, and I had a lot of fun doing it in the end. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Bye bye.